All right, what's up? What's going on, world? It is your most favorite podcast in the world, Table Talk, with your three most favoritist and drunkest hosts, Hypergraphia.
King size.
Lady S.
As always, we're hanging out with you guys, and so we're just doing a total random podcast on this one. We are bringing this one to you guys live in the social room and Discord. Thank you to everybody currently listening. We have Tristan in here, we have Jack in here, we have Noah in here. So thanks for being here with us, guys. We really appreciate you. Anyone else that wants to join in, feel free to. Well, what I was just trying to segue into, we already had a couple things.
Interesting.
Have you guys ever seen Full Metal Jacket though?
Yes.
Have you ever seen it? I've never seen it. So like
what?
So Kyle was telling me about it. Like I have seen
The first half hours.
Yes, well I've seen the first, where they're in like boot camp and training and stuff, but like just the whole AC-130 thing made me think of like Kyle said, because I've never seen it, and Kyle said there's like a point in the movie where this dude is just gunning down like peasant farmers and people with like this machine gun and a helicopter. And
And
I was like I've never, that's what he said too. He's like going crazy just laughing, and the other dude is just, the main dude is just sitting there watching him like, Jesus Christ. Anyway, I don't know. That just like your stuttering made me think of that. Like,
Yeah! My stuttering reminds you of murder.
it reminds
Pointless
me of
murder.
Reminds me of the sound of a machine gun. So tonight, guys, we don't really know what we're gonna talk about. We already pre-discussed. Corey is hitting that Jamie Sun hard. Let me get that off of you for a second.
What are you getting off me?
Yeah. So we were gonna talk about some strip club stories. I don't know if you guys have ever been to a strip club. I was just telling these guys I've only been to one strip club my entire life, and it was a really unpleasant experience. So I thought, like they were kind of both about it and wanted to share some of their own experiences. So
I was like, I was not about it.
we'll see. So the first and only time I ever fucking hit a strip club, it was not really a good time. Like I was telling them, like my friends had taken me to it. I think it was like a birthday. Maybe we had just gone out drinking that day. But it was not a good time. My friends Ryan and Andrew were like, hey, we'll get you a lap dance off any chick you want. I wasn't drinking because I wasn't really feeling the vibe, but like, so they basically lined up every girl in the club and they're like, pick the one you want. And I was just like, this is so cringy and awkward and uncomfortable. And once I finally picked the one like that I wanted to dance from, she was like, she was like disgusted, and I was just like, that just crushed me. And I was like, this is the whole reason I didn't want to be here in the first place. But what I was telling them is just like, it was so bad for both of us because obviously she did not want to do it, and then it was like a private dance, so it was like in a booth in the back. I was on a couch, and like, like the whole time her everything was in my face, and like all I could smell was sweat. It was just a smell of sweat, and it was just so dirty and gross, and I was like, God, I hate this. And she's looking at me like, God, I hate you. And I was like, God, I hate this even more.
I've never been more turned on.
It was terrible. It was terrible. So I've only been to a strip club once, but like, I'm just not interested in them. I've talked about them on stream before. I'm not big on that. Like, I'm not big on going to those and like just being subjected to that. It's not really my style.
Badge in your face.
But what about you guys? Like, it sounded like you had maybe a story, and you had a couple stories. Like, have you guys had good experiences or bad experiences with them?
You're gonna err on the side of bad. You want to go? Because you've had good experiences from.
So
right. Throw off this.
Okay, so when I went to strip clubs, I've always gone with like my friends, my battle buddies, or like my Aunt Terry, because she loves going to strip clubs and stuff.
Really? Terry?
Yes. And so I've actually never had a bad experience with like the dancers. They're not like catty or stuff to me as like a like a customer. But where my bad experience comes from is when I was like 20 years old. I actually worked at Deja Vu, but not as a stripper. I worked as a quote unquote waitress.
Or like a server walking around with the tray of shots and stuff. Yeah.
So like I had to wear like a uniform. I had like a white button up top with black pants and a tie and stuff.
Real quick.
What?
Is it now? Rumor has it, and it's not about you, is that the tray girls are hit on way more
than the
strippers.
It depends.
I could see that. That kind of makes sense.
I mean, it seems like it's one of those things like the patrons want it so bad because they just can't have it.
Well, it's just
I just wanted to
girls
experience
everywhere.
it.
They're gonna hit on any good-looking girl, really. It's
Could be
just
the
like,
same as if you were at Hooters or something.
right? Like it doesn't matter. I mean, yeah, I got my ass grabbed a couple times, and I was just like,
damn.
That's not what I'm here for,
I will kill
sir. But
Jabs knife in the neck.
We don't serve alcohol, but we serve pain.
So my bad experience is actually when I was a server there, and the girls were pretty catty to me, and it was literally my first job ever.
Really?
Yeah, and I was, I didn't know anything, and they just expected me to know things like what certain drinks were, and I was just like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Did you make
Right.
drinks?
We had like sodas and stuff and like Red Bull, but like there was no actually drinking allowed because it was a fully nude.
I was gonna
Right.
say fully
strip
nude
club.
bars you can't do drinking at.
Well,
Yeah.
here in Michigan.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But the
In
bar,
Thailand.
the bar across
Ooh.
the street, the Nathan J's,
Yeah.
you could drink there.
But they were just
Because it was a
topless.
topless bar.
Yeah. Well, you topless, but they still wore like G strings. So
Oh,
it's
this is
pretty
so
much,
educational. I love it.
Pretty much just full nude.
Well, that might just still be like
Just
Michigan
enough to
laws,
hide the
too.
bits.
It's funny because
It's like a. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. But the G-string, it's got to be like a beard net. It just holds everything in, and now everything's great. You're welcome.
That way, when they're cutting your meat, it's totally fine. Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I think you told that same story during our first podcast, because remember our first podcast segued a whole bunch of different ways. But like, I had also talked about. I'm pretty sure this was our first one ever, but like how I had a friend who she was working at a club called the Odyssey in Flint, and like she was pregnant at the time, just like trying to make some scratch.
That wasn't our first one.
That wasn't our first one.
No, that was in the boobs one.
That was the boobs one, was
Boobs
it? When
one,
we
yeah.
talked about like
Oh,
the
so
breast milk
fitting.
shots, which
Yes.
is also just like
milk-filled breasts.
crazy weird fetish though. Like it's just like
Yep.
my friend
Oh,
Rochelle.
that's
Yeah, I was
right.
gonna say my friend Rochelle. She worked at like a real seedy bar in Flint, and she was a shot girl, doing the same job or work or whatever. But she had one patron ask her for like a breast milk shot, and she's like, nope. She's like, she went to the dude and quit. She's like, I'm not about this
How do you
life.
ask that? Like, straight face.
Yeah, that's true too. I mean, you might as well just be like, "Hey, you want to just be like a baby and spank my ass later?" It's just like, no.
I'm into some weird shit.
Right? Yeah, no shit.
Really?
How do you approach people about that too?
Well, that's
you know
the
what I mean?
thing.
How do you just openly display
Hey,
a fetish like that?
Mare.
That's the
Well-
thing, though. These guys who come to strip clubs, they
They
don't
have, like,
care.
no shame.
No, they don't. They'll-
Because I was gonna say, like, you know what I mean? When it comes to like fetishes and stuff like that, or just like stuff that you would consider kinky, like I don't know, somebody like me, somebody like us, I feel like you really only share that within like very personal boundaries, like people you really trust. It's just sometimes it's weird stuff. We're not gonna get into it. Don't fucking look at me. Don't look at me. I'm not talking about my fetishes right now. I'm just saying you only share them with
I'm
people that you
grabbing my
trust.
pen and my paper. I won't be able to read it anyway.
Right?
Sorry, continue with...
That,
no, I was done.
by all means, yeah. Let's hear
Oh,
hear
it's
Corey's
No, I gotta finish.
strip poker story.
Gotta finish.
I remember one of yours, but I don't know if that's the one you're going to talk about.
The one where I got verbally assaulted by the stripper?
Oh my God! Really?
Is that one?
Verbally assaulted?
Verbally assaulted.
What?
Nope.
All right, here we go.
Like during a dance or yeah? No, let's hear.
No,
it.
no, I
let's
didn't do-
100% hear this.
I did not do any of the private VIP room crap.
Right.
I had a friend, a mutual friend, who was also in the military. Is that narrowing it down for you? Because I don't want to use names. going.
Do you think you know
Paid
who
for
that
a bunch of
is?
piercings for another mutual friend.
Maybe?
Okay. And anyway.
Anyways.
There's a couple girls with the strip club thing, so it could be...
No, it was a guy.
Oh, that
There we
one.
go.
Yeah, okay, I thought you
Boom.
said girl.
We
Ba-da-ba.
have a winner.
Yep.
All right, what about him?
Yep.
What
Excuse
about
me.
that bastard?
Wow. Yeah, now I know you got it right. Anyway, he drugged me up there, about 5 or 6 times. And one of the last times, he was dating a stripper, quote unquote, air quotes for the listeners. And he'd go up there, see her, literally blow his paycheck every week on this chick. Never saw her outside of the strip club, so I'm already like, oh, this is great, buddy. This is just great. And goes to the private room with her, and I'm sitting literally, like, whole strip club. You used to work here. You know how many people this place holds.
Yeah.
Literally the only one in the place, besides the strippers and him in the back room. So, I'm sitting there, front row, one of the first tables, right by the, not standing room, and this lady's just going to town on herself. I mean, there is no, if she was a DJ, that needle would have been broken. Like, she was just going. And then she stands up, throws off the little clothes that she had in her hand. Like, I don't know what it was. I walked in, sat down. He went to the private room, so I wasn't really paying attention. And she just starts screaming at me, "This mother..." I was trying, actually. "This MFer's not paying anything." Excuse me. "He hasn't paid for anything the whole time he's been here. I ain't stripping for this MFer and this, that." I'm like, bitch, really? Like, what else are you gonna do? And she just kept yelling and screaming at me for the rest of her 2-song stage performance. I'm like, what the fuck is this place? Like, what do you expect? I haven't gotten off any money yet, but I've literally been in the club for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was not enjoying it. I'm like, just come sit and talk. I'd rather talk to you than watch you, nothing's going on. And no, she had to make a thing out of this. And like,
huh.
Wow.
Do you remember what she looked like? I mean, strippers go in and out of places all
yes,
the fucking
they do.
time. But shit, man, I know a couple people that have that like type of attitude that would.
She was actually decent looking.
Yeah.
Aside from the Cesarean scar, and that's not even a jab. Like, that's just seriously, like, no attempt to. That shit was fresh, yo.
Did I ever tell you guys, like, this is not a strip club story, but since I feel like this is a very, like, after dark episode of our podcast.
It is in fact dark out.
Well, I mean, it feels like a very after dark episode, but like I feel like I've told Serena this before, but like, have I ever told you the story, like, how actually, believe it or not, I have a couple
real quick.
I have a couple weird stories.
Table
Sure.
talk after hours or after
TTAA, TTAD.
Sorry.
But like, there was this one time, so like, right after, again, this is kind of a segue. It's not really about strip clubs or whatsoever, but so, oh yes, absolutely. But there was this one time. So like, when I first started getting into like EDM and like dance, house, dubstep, all that kind of music, it was right after I moved to Ann Arbor, Detroit, and I was living in Ypsilanti at the time, working out of Ann Arbor, and like at the time, me and Ryan, who you guys both know, like we would go to shows and stuff, and so like the second show that I ever went to in Detroit, I'm actually almost positive that a guy date rape drugged me.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yes, have I ever told you that? I've told you this, right?
Yeah.
And so it was the second time I had ever gone to like a show, and we were catching it's actually a band called Boombox. They're not even really electronic. It's a guitarist.
I just swear you're gonna say they're not even that good, but we went in.
No, it's a guitarist and a drummer, and so like it's actually pretty very mellow, chill music. But like, it was, again, the second show I'd ever went to. I went with Ryan and this big group of friends we were working with at the time. A couple of people from the kitchen we were in, and a couple of people that worked front of house as servers or whatever. And I was with this girl. Her name was Mackenzie, and I still know her to this day or whatever. And so like, I had ended up like taking acid actually, and I was just tripping the whole show, and I was like, oh man, this is fantastic, this is great. And halfway through the show, Mackenzie was like, hey Ryan, she's like, you want to go grab a couple water bottles at the bar with me for everybody? And I was like, yeah, absolutely, we'll go grab some water for everybody. So we go over to the bar and stuff, and I didn't have any money at the time, and like I said, I'm just tripping. And so she's ordering stuff, she's ordering from the bar, and as she's doing that, like, I'm just kind of hanging off to the left, and I'm totally spaced, I'm totally geeked, and this guy who's like leaning up against the wall against the bar, it was like a bald-headed dude, he like looks at me and he goes, hey man, you want a shot of whiskey? And me, just like second show, trusting everybody, I was just like, oh Yeah, thanks, man. Absolutely. So I took his glass, took a shot of the whiskey, and I kind of went back to paying attention to Mackenzie at the bar. Well, dude, it wasn't even like 60 seconds, and immediately, like everything started like slowing down. Like no joke. Like I was actually kind of freaked out, and so I like looked at her. I looked at her and like I barely like slurred, and I think she saw the concern in my eyes because I was like Mackenzie, and she's like, she looked at me and she like looked at the dude and she goes, "Did you just take a shot of that guy's drink?" Like very discreetly, and I was like, "Yeah, he told me it was whiskey," and she's like, drink this water bottle immediately. So like I just pounded a water bottle, you know, and I was like, oh shit, okay, and like anyway, so we get a couple more and we walk back to our crew or whatever. So like the night goes on, we're still watching, I'm still tripping on acid and stuff, but we're still watching the show and having a great time and stuff. So like halfway through the show, or halfway through the rest of the night, I had convinced myself, I was like, maybe you were just being like way too paranoid, you know what I mean? Like you're tripping, you don't, you know. And it was no sooner that I thought that I turn around and that dude is standing like right behind me, just like looking at me. Like it was almost like he was like still waiting for me to like fall out of my friends, you know what I mean?
Any minute
like
now.
Have to go to like the bathroom to like throw up or get sick or pass out or something. And it was really freaky. Like I've actually read stories of that, of like actually like like straight guys that like will accompany like friends to gay bars and stuff, and like there have been like attempted rapings and stuff like that.
That's fucked.
That shit does actually happen. Like, and that's why I say like when you go out, no matter if you're male or female, like you need to be very conscious of like who you accept drinks from and stuff. And it's, I don't know, it's fucking crazy. Like, it was right around that time that they were also, like, they had just developed, and I don't know if you guys ever heard of this, but there's a nail polish that if you dip it into your drink, it will change colors.
Yeah.
There's, like, a roofie in it. So it was, like, right around the time that was happening big, but I would have never thought that would happen to somebody like me, but it's just, it's a weird story. It's a weird thing to share, you know what I mean? But
it's an interesting segue.
It's very, well, I was going to say, like, I've had very strange experiences that, like, I don't know if you guys have ever, just because of friends or whatever, like hit up gay bars, but I've had some very straight, like
I've been asked to a lot.
Well, I'm sure you guys know like the Pachyderm in Flint.
Yeah,
you know, it's a very notorious gay bar where we come from, and
notorious, not well known. Notorious.
Well, there was a time, so like living in Flint or whatever, where my dad would kind of like hustle a little bit of like green here and there to people, and a lot of his customers were people at bars. So there was like one night I accompanied him up there. And this guy that, like, apparently my dad knew, and he was like, yeah, he's like, this guy's always been weird. Like, he was a coach for the baseball team when I was in high school. So I'm sitting there at the bar getting drunk with my dad. He's, like, taking care of sales and stuff. But this guy just totally walks up to me, and he goes, "You're fucking beautiful." And he's like, I just won $2,000 on Keno tonight. He's like, if I give you $1,000, can I have sex with your asshole? And I was just like, I like looked at my dad and I was like, well, I'm ready to go, Dad. And he's just like, no, this guy's just way too fucked up. And like my dad got up and he's like, Ken, what the fuck? He's like, just calm down. He's like, get away from my son. He's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? He's like, you're fucked up. He's like, get out of here.
Oh my god.
So like the guy goes and like, so it's like an island bar, right?
Right.
And so like the guy just sits directly across from me. And my dad's like, come on, like stay. We got a couple things left to do. He's like, I might have another sail or two. And this dude is just sitting across from me like all night as I'm drinking fucking beers. And he keeps like signaling me to come over. He's like, come and sit next to me. And I was just like, like I'm signaling back like, no. And so finally like my dad is like, you know, I'm gonna go out back and smoke a cigarette. And I was like, I'm leaving because we live like 2 blocks away, and I was like, I'm just gonna like walk home. But the whole way home, I'm just like watching over my shoulder, like waiting for this guy to like come over and knock me over the head. It was the most awkward thing. Like I never thought I don't know, like I never would have thought that somebody would have actually offered me money for sex, and that's just like disgusting. That just makes it so creepy and wrong, and I'm just like, no.
I'm a little like annoyed that no one's offered me money for sex.
Well, I mean, like again, like we're talking. I'm probably like 23 or 24, and like I mean, at the time, like when that happened, this guy must have been at least like mid 50s, dude. So, and that's what is so weird. Like it's so creepy. Like some older men just like leer on like younger men like that. It's just really weird. Like I haven't had a lot of those experiences. But I mean, like, I have had so many experiences at bars, like, just even thinking earlier how it was, like, my fucking birthday yesterday and we were getting trashed, and when I was streaming earlier, like, I've had so many funny things happen at bars, like, I had so many good
bars.
Really?
I just grew up in them. You on the other hand.
I don't know, man. Like, they were such a big thing for me and the people that I rolled with for a while. It's like, we were so big into, like, karaoke, and we would always just go out for that reason. But, like, I remember, like, one night I got super trashed and, like, tried to fucking jump on my friend's car as he was, like, peeling away or whatever, and I was, like, expecting, it was snowing, and I was expecting to, like, land on the trunk, but he just went so fast, so quickly, I just, like, landed in the fucking concrete, like, phew, like, knocked the fucking wind out of me. My friend, like, looks out his window, and he's like, what the fuck just happened? You know, I'm just like, oh, good, dude, don't worry about it.
I'm glad you went for the back of the car, not the front.
Dude,
I'll
like,
get the hood, windshield.
Just, again, like, when it comes to bars, too, like, even the first time I ever tried or dropped acid, like, the first time I ever tried acid, it was on a Shock Tart, and, like, I was living at Flint at the time, and our friend Ryan, our previous friend Ryan, he had already moved to Ann Arbor, so he comes up, and he was trying to convince me to live with him in Ann Arbor at the time, but he's like, oh, man, he's like, I brought these tabs, and they're on Shock Tarts. He's like, we should go to JW's, which was another pretty big karaoke bar in Flint at the time. And I'll just never forget that,
just
dude.
A
like
small
the
town
very first
girl.
time, because like we go in and I am just tripping and I don't know how to feel. We ended up meeting some other people and stuff, and they were just like halfway through the night, like the same thing that I did with Serena when I first met her, and I was on shrooms. Like halfway through the night, I like leaned over to somebody. I'm like, am I acting normal? And they're just like, yeah. They're like, why? And I was
Up to this point,
I'm tripping balls right now. But I remember telling the DJ, like, I was going up to sing Incubus's Drive, and I was like, can I put in Incubus's Drive? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. And I knew the dude, and I was like, hey, Josh, I was like, I'm tripping balls on acid right now. And he's like, he just kind of looks at me, and then I go up to sing Incubus, and he throws on, like, Lil White's I'm on Acid, and starts hitting me with strobe lights on the stage, and I just looked at the dude like, you dick! So it was crazy.
Also, ow.
And we ended up, well, that's what I was telling you earlier, too, is, like, when it comes to acid, though, like, Ryan and I ended up getting pulled over, like, both tripping balls on acid, and the cop was just so suspicious of us, but that's where I learned,
so
like,
annoyed he couldn't do anything.
When it comes to LSD, though, like, you can't legally be tested for it. You can't do, like, a swab or, like, a pee or anything. Like, you have to do a spinal tap for that, so it's just, in order to do that, like, it's, but we were just, like, so
knowledge is power.
We were just so terrified, though, dude, like, getting pulled over by a cop on acid, and still, like, Ryan was trash, you know what I mean? Like, even when he blew, even though, like, he was way over, you know, so, like, the cop's like, I can impound your truck right now, and, like, I can take you motherfuckers to jail, and we're just both looking at each other like, that's the last place we want to be right now, like.
Shit just got real. No, you were speaking of the gentleman at the bar that wanted to, you know.
A night with him?
Yeah.
A naughty
One
night?
night with Hypergraphia's butthole. Rated NC-17.
Well, I wanted to say I wanted to wear you like a hockey mask. I'm like, well, he didn't say anything about anything.
Straight to video editing.
No.
You gotta walk through the beaded room at Blockbuster for this one.
The last time my brother was in Flint, we went to a seedy bar. What the hell was the name of it? It's right next to the Speedway in Flint.
Right next to the Speedway. AJ Racers?
No. Well, hi, microphone. The other Speedway. It's oh fuck. This is not.
Is it a strip club?
No. It's just a
not
bar.
Remington's or Sherman's, is it? Remington's, is it?
It ended up. I do hit the mic a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is a thing he does.
Mostly the table, though. I'm trying to protect names and people, but it ended up being...
Stop protecting people.
Well, I'm not out to destroy livelihoods.
Why not?
Well...
Do they deserve it?
Right.
No.
Oh,
they don't.
okay.
Well,
Well, if they
then
don't
never
deserve
mind.
it, then yeah.
Yeah, see, the betterment, because that's a word.
We are killing this, Jameson.
Yes, we is. Anyway, went up to this place. Friend of my brother's was a manager there, and freaking drank for free most of the night. Great. That was actually the night I texted you. I'm like, I'm doing picklebacks, brother.
Oh, yeah,
And
that's
you're like,
right.
you are drunk. Yes, I am.
Yes, you were. If you were drunk enough to text me and tell me you were doing pickle shots,
It's out of love.
I was like, damn.
Out of love.
I'm really glad that you like pickle shots, though. Like,
Where was my text?
You were next to him. Because there was a point where he's like, Reedy's laughing at you.
This is actually, you know what? This is really funny because it makes me think of a segue. Like, I don't know if this works for both of you, but
okay,
what
it's
is
just a
what is
story.
the worst thing you've ever thrown up? Like, because
Oh.
of drinking or honestly, because like the whole reason I think of that is because when we were up north deer hunting like a week ago, my little brother reminded me of this story where I think it was like 7 years ago. Let me see, 7 years ago, so I'd still been able to drink, but every year when we go deer hunting, we drink heavily, you know what I mean? And we were camping with my dad.
Deer camp drinking.
We were camping with my dad, and it's just like me, Kyle, and my dad, and we had just killed a ton of whiskey, but
What the hell is this shit?
my father brought
This.
red velvet cake with him.
Was that a story? Did I say that out loud?
Mm-mm.
What are you talking about?
The Tamato juice?
Mm-mm.
No,
that's
he's-
he's answering the question.
Yeah.
He's answering the question that was posed.
He was like, what is
Oh.
the worst thing you threw up?
Yeah, I'm asking everybody what's the worst thing you ever threw
I'm
up.
gonna shut up now because there's a story behind that, and I
Well-
misread that.
Well,
So
that's okay. That can be a perfect segue. But I'm just saying, for me, the worst time I ever threw up was that time deer hunting. I was probably 22 or
Sorry.
23,
Yes.
and we had slammed probably a bunch of like. Fireball wasn't big at the time, so I want to say it was probably just some cheap ass fucking whiskey. And I had the munchies because we smoke weed like a motherfucker up there. So I ate probably like half of a red velvet cake. And I just remember like halfway through the night, I like woke up out of nowhere. You know what I mean? And I just like ran to the door of the trailer, opened it up, and just like a cone of red. And my dad's just like, you fucking stupid fuck. You know, he's just yelling at me. He's like, what the fuck, Ryan? And I'm just like, just, oh, it was bad. So like went right to bed after
You
it.
just blew all of the stuff all over me.
Oh, whoa.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What the hell?
Well, I have to breathe.
Smoke thirsty drink.
Smoke weed every day.
I
Yeah, the
smoked
tomato
that
juice
thirsty-
puked up while I was so
Anyway,
close. Oh my gosh.
What's the
Guys.
word? I'm sorry.
Babe, that's wasteful.
Babe, it's not. Let's roll a doob. Or not.
Corey, did you have something to add
I
to your
did.
story?
I didn't even see that there.
Did I have something to add to
Yeah, talk about tomato juice.
No. You had something to say about
You
your
had
brother.
something to say.
about the bar or about throwing up?
Do both of them while I fix this. Deflect. I'm so sorry.
Real quick, the bar
Babe, I'm so sorry. I didn't even
that
see it.
ended up being. You were talking about the guy that was the gay guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to isolate. And,
Yeah. No, it's fine. Isolate.
Um,
Incinerate. Intimidate.
Whoa, whoa,
I'm
whoa.
sorry.
that's very hate crimey.
No, it wasn't.
And
That's your own mind reflecting.
I
Talk
passed.
to me. Anyway.
Anyway, we sat there, got bombed for free, ate for free, got bombed again for free, and I passed on my brother's sister's best friend because I'm a dumbass. And that here, let me go ahead and mute that for you. And that's
It's-
wasteful.
It's fine.
And so anyway, the night goes on, sitting there BSing with my brother's friend, and the owner of the bar comes out, and he is flamboyantly gay, like just in your face, Elton John. Here we are, and
Okay.
beelines right to me,
That's
and I'm like, really?
like a candle in the wind.
Right.
It just flies over to Corey. You have a penis.
Pretty much. And he sits down, crosses his legs, like as over the top as you can be. And he's like, so I hear you drive truck.
Oh,
Really? And
I'm
Lo
pretty
and-
good with the stick shit.
lo and behold, my brother set the whole thing up. I'm like, really? He's like, well, you turned down the one chick that was trying to follow you into the bathroom, so I figured, well, we'll play the other team and see what happens. I'm like, fucking thanks, bro. What was the other one? What was the last story you
The
just
worst
said?
thing you've ever thrown up
Oh,
while drinking.
in your face, Elton John. Here we are. Here we are.
Like a candle in the wind.
No, I actually love Elton John, so I feel a little bad making that reference. But if you're gonna be obvious, you're gonna be yes, yes, yes. Somebody just posted Elton John in all his glory.
That would
destroyed.
be daddy nuts.
Oh.
By the way, before we continue, let's also just really quickly thank
Salute
everybody that's hanging
Elton
out
John.
with us.
Yes.
Tristan, Dan, we have Jack still in here with us. Not Tristan, I'm sorry. Noah was in here for a minute. He might have dipped out for a second. Thank you guys so much for joining us on the
Yes,
podcast
yes,
tonight.
thank you.
We really appreciate you guys. Anyway, what's the worst thing you've ever thrown up?
Sriracha,
Oh.
Pepsi. Black Velvet,
Oh my
and
god.
ketchup.
What is wrong with you?
Well, I was
Corey, what is wrong with
I need to hear the story.
back when I was 13.
Sriracha,
Experimental.
Sriracha,
Whoa.
ketchup, black velvet.
We just had the Elton John conversation. Relax.
Sriracha, ketchup, black velvet, and what? What was the other thing?
Pepsi.
Oh my god, dude.
And pizza rolls.
What the fuck?
Can't forget the
What
chunky.
What the fuck?
Ryan's
dude?
like, get out of your own house.
Yeah.
We
Take a
were
train.
oh, this is how cool we were.
Get straight out of town.
Go on.
Sorry.
Oh. We had DDR parties way back when. Yeah. Can you see that? Let me go get my trip pants and
1, 2, 7, 3. Back
but
before people could make TikToks, I used to be an edgelord.
you got it.
All right. Anyway,
You ever-
go on.
Do you mean a
So
cringe
you had
lord?
DDR parties and you guys were throwing srirachas all over each
Yep.
other. Srirachas, plural. More than one sriracha. Go on.
Whoa. Sorry, the chat's a little distracting.
That's the best part of it.
Isn't it? Are you making kissy noises into the?
No, this is just sour.
Oh, okay. So yeah, ended up found Dad's stash of Black Velvet, which is he used to keep gallons in the garage. So we're just fucking downing Dad's Black Velvet,
Oof.
and I went from Black Velvet to pizza rolls,
Here we
and
go.
sriracha,
Oh,
and it was just it was a terrible combination.
that is a terrible combination.
And instead of just going outside and taking care of, I'm like, no, I can repress this vomit, and we'll just add on it. So I downed like half a bottle of ketchup, a whole 2 liter,
What the?
and then I'm like, yeah, okay, I've lost the battle at this point, and it just was terrible. The next morning, I walk out of the house and I just look at the side of the garage and where Mom's flowers are. And I'm like, those are dead.
Ever tell you about the time I had Nazi tacos?
Nazi tacos.
Nazi tacos. Like when I was
I'm gonna hold my finger over the mute button.
my final year of high school at Clio, I ended up failing out. So I did a second year high school in Swartz Creek, Michigan, and I was hanging out with like a group of friends I was kicking with at the time, and they're like, "Oh, dude, we're doing this house party. This friend of everybody just got back. He just did like basic training or whatever in some branch of the military." And they're like, "We're just hanging out, getting drunk at his house." And I remember the dude specifically. His name was Spike. Everybody called him Spike. So we all go over to this dude's house. It was real close to where we all went to school, but like I remember I was just like blasted, dude. I was already drinking so hard, and I was sitting at the table, and this other dude that was like kind of getting to know me that night. He's like, "Hey, man." He's like, you want to do a fucking Nazi taco, bro? And I was like, sure, I
Come here,
guess.
Svetlana.
And he proceeds to pour, like, I'm pretty sure it was El Toro tequila in with
Oh,
some
no.
Jägermeister.
Oh, no.
Nazi taco, German and Spanish. So it's just like, dude, I did like 2 of them with them.
I
and
thought
after
this was
that,
back to a strip club
I
story.
was just in a bad fucking situation.
I bet you were.
I had a bunch of friends that was like sitting on the couch and like I fucking just jumped into them or whatever. I ended up breaking a whole bunch of friends' cigarettes and stuff. And they're just like, "What the fuck, Jackson?" You know, and like before the end of the night I ended up passing out in front of this dude's fridge to where my friend like John was like dragging me by my wrist to like a bedroom just to get the fuck out of the way. And I had gone outside for a cigarette, and like my friend John, he was such a good friend at the time too. Like I don't really keep up with him much, but like he was just keeping track of me all night. Well, I'm outside having a cigarette and I'm just wasted, and he just like kind of like throws open the door because he had no idea where I was at, and he was like, "Jackson," and I was just like, "What And I just like jumped like over this fucking like fence, and I just started fucking running. And he's just like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he just starts running after me. But
Jackson, whoop.
yeah, it was. I
Ryan's
don't know,
Adventures is Mario.
As soon as somebody came out looking for me, like, "What are you doing?" You know, like, because he had like that stern nature in his voice. I was just like, "Yeah," I was just gone.
Not being here.
And it's so funny because he would like tell that story for years afterwards, and he'd be like, "I'll never forget the time I came out like Jackson, what are you doing?" And you're just like, "Boop." Like it didn't. He's like, "You didn't even touch the fucking handrail. You just literally like pulled your legs up and were like over a thing." That's actually the same friend in high school that my buddies John and my buddy Vince, like at the time, like in Swartz Creek High School in my 5th year or whatever of senior year.
Your 5th senior year?
Yeah.
Ryan's had a little too many.
But like, so like, I was close friends. I was close friends with this guy John, and he was close friends with this guy Vince. So naturally, transitive or whatever, I became close friends with Vince. Well, Vince, like this guy, he was a total germaphobe. Like, you ever met somebody that like just always had to like wash their hands?
Yeah.
Have you ever met somebody? Yeah. So that's exactly who he was. He was very OCD about washing his hands. So he hated germs. Well, there was this one night we were all like hanging out at my apartment. I was like with one of my exes at the time, I think Christina or something, and she was at work, and we're just hanging out. We're getting plastered together, all three of us hanging out, just broing out or whatever. But
typical Tuesday.
We were drinking. We ended up slamming like a 5th of vodka in like 10 minutes flat, and like right after that, I had some Jägermeister, and I was like, "Yeah, let's do this with some Monster and stuff."
Oh.
So we started doing like glasses of that. Well, I'll never forget. I'm sitting in like like just like a wooden wicker chair or something, and I'm letting my buddy John sit on the couch, and my buddy Vince had the recliner. Well, like my buddy John, like after like 2 glasses, again, whole bottle of vodka and 2 glasses of this Monster fucking or Red Bull. That's what it was. I'm sorry, Red Bull and Jägermeister. He's like, "Bro, I got the spins." He's like, "I gotta lay down." He's like, "I don't feel so good." So he lays back on the couch. Wasn't 60 seconds, a whole minute later, he like springs up and he's like, "Hook up." And he does, but he does it into his hand.
Oh no!
But at the top of his hand, so he's
just
not
cutting
covered.
it into 5 pieces.
So he's like aiming right at his friend Vince, and like he literally 3 streams of puke just go through his fingers and start landing on Vince. And Vince starts freaking out because he's a total germaphobe. So he jumps up out of my recliner chair and he starts throwing up on my fucking living room floor, and I'm just laughing. Like, I'm laughing at both of them. I was just so fucking wasted at the time. But like, I also have a problem with puke, so like after I start laughing, like I start smelling all the booze in their vomit, and I start retching. So I go to my kitchen, and I'm puking in my kitchen sink. John's got puke all over him. He's on my fucking couch. Vince is puking into his hand all over my fucking living room floor. And like that night when Christina got home, I had like such a story. I was like, "Oh, like this is why everything is stained.
This is why we lost the security deposit."
Yeah.
Oh.
Sounds like the Family Guy episode when they all take the
Epitaph.
Yep.
It kind of was.
Oh no!
It kind of was.
I don't wanna.
God, like
Those are the best nights.
puking is like so rough when you do it on liquor, though.
Yeah,
Mm.
you get used to it. The last time I passed out in the backyard, there's a.
What about the time? Like, did you end up puking the night that you passed out?
Yes, exactly.
Did you end up puking the night that you passed out in like your bathroom when I brought you in the gummy snacks and like your sandwich order? Do you remember that?
Nope.
Do you remember that? You
remember that,
I
yeah.
gave you like the last gummy snack in the house.
What was I doing?
I think that was the night
Besides
that
being
they all had
drunk?
the fire outside, wasn't
That was
it?
like Mandy's party or
Yeah,
whatever.
yep. That was the night you guys all had the fire outside because you were wrecked.
Was that the night I come in here and like flopped on the floor?
Yes.
Yes,
I'm like,
because-
Jameson's my friend.
And you were worrying us because you were sitting right behind like the Xbox and the PlayStation. You had like an open water bottle.
Sorry to worry you
You-
about your goddamn Xbox.
You were fucking, but you were sitting there behind it, like passing out in a chair with an open water bottle in your hand, with no idea where the lid was, and you were just kind of like looking at it, like
In
and
my
I was just
defense-
looking at Serena like.
In my defense,
There's
not
Corey
a
right there.
drop of water hit the ground.
That is true. That is true. And you also found the cap on the ground during your second visit.
During my second visit
Yeah, 'cause
to the ground.
we walked away, I think, and then came back. Because
I got stuff to do.
I had the VR
Find this
headset
water bottle cap.
that night. You
I have a
remember?
lisp when I'm drunk.
Yep.
What?
I had the VR headset one night.
Yes.
And then you're like, I want to do this, and
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's
no.
You
right.
guys,
That
it
was
was
the night.
simultaneous. No.
Yeah. We were like, no way, dude. Like, you already threw up, and that is not going to help you
I
balance.
didn't throw up.
Or wait, no, you were about to.
I did not.
Oh, wait, you didn't?
No.
Even though you passed out on the toilet?
No.
Awesome.
No,
I'm proud of you.
you had to have thrown up.
No.
When
I
you-
threw up in the backyard. It wasn't really.
It wasn't where you thought
No,
it was.
because like after he went to the bathroom, I was like, "Oh, Corey sounds rough," and I thought you was
You
like,
did. That's right.
Yeah.
You did puke your guts out.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason I took you, because you left that door open and we could hear you, dude.
I'm sorry.
And I remember looking at her and I was like, I've got to get some food in him.
You did.
I
You
brought
bro-
you a water bottle, a sandwich, and a fucking fruit snack pack.
Where
dude.
did the sandwich come from?
You had
Oh,
bought,
that was the.
yeah, you had
Yeah.
bought your own sandwich at like a fast food restaurant. You were wrecked that night, bro.
Yeah.
It was a great night though. It was really entertaining. But yeah, no,
Yeah,
like
thank you.
that was the night. It
That's
was
what
like,
I was going
That
for.
was like exactly the night after we got the VR headset from
Yep.
Francis, and I
Yep.
was telling Corey about it. And he's like, I want to do it. He's like,
Let
yeah,
me
well,
get
like,
into it.
nope. No way are we
Virtual
putting
reality.
a $500 piece of equipment in your hands right now.
I was good. I swear I don't remember getting sick in the bathroom.
Oh man.
I remember out in the lawn. Because
I feel like I remember walking in and I was like, damn, like you had looked.
Corey's got some
You
demons.
had never been so not never been so rough, but
Then you must have been dry heaving or something, because I thought I could hear like.
Okay.
could have
Rough
been.
sounds.
That's actually true too.
Ah, this is fun. I'm glad this is going on
Yay!
recording. No, that was the night I stayed out and I kept the campfire company because I was worried about my yard. So I was like, just sleep out here for a few hours, make sure the fire goes out. Then I passed out on the child's tire swing, and that's why my dumbass sits on a tire swing and keeps spinning around. No, I ran with this tire swing around for like 30 seconds, flopped on it, and tried to pass out, and then. I don't know. It felt like 20 minutes later.
Of course you did.
I'm like, oh no. Hey, look, we're stopped, but the world's still spinning. I can feel it. Let's lay on the ground, hold it still for a bit.
So is this episode dedicated to all of our like fucked up memories?
Our fucked up.
Oh,
like,
no.
A lot of like fucked up.
We want to talk
drinking
fucked up
memories,
memory.
at least.
Oh, okay.
But I was gonna
Fucked
say.
up, not repressed.
Well,
Sorry.
Corey also said, kind of was like motioning earlier. We're
Yeah.
reaching like 41, 42, so we might want to. If we, I mean, I'm totally down for like continuing to talk. And
Was
just
I
see,
in the middle of a story?
and just see where
This
This
everything
is
goes.
starting to get to me.
Yeah, you're good. But we should probably end this one right here, guys. We're just gonna cut the recording. We're still gonna be live with you guys in voice chat. We're probably just gonna switch over and probably start recording another maybe 30 to 40 minute segment. So stay tuned, stay with us. Again, let's give a big shout out to everybody that's hanging out with us or has been in here tonight, like Chi Chi, Butterbeard, Daddy Nuts, Fire Node, of course Queen Sally of Fire Nodes. Like, thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast as we go live. Big shout out to Cardi who hung out with us for a little bit. That's about all I can see in the social room on the computer right now. So if there's anyone past that that's actually sat in here with us, thank you guys so much for that. I don't know if Corey's definitely feeling the Jameson, but can you do the email?
Hell yeah. Oh, wait. No.
HLSZ3 show.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
Continue. No, it is HLSZ3show at yahoo.com. Look at me. I'm a professional. Send us a line. Drop us a story. You got anything to say, just let us know. There will be comments eventually. If you're in Discord, feel free to...
I was gonna say maybe before we go, we could like think of like a topic for the next podcast.
topic?
And since everybody is kind of sitting in here with us right now, like we could ask everybody in chat that's listening, like, what's one of your most embarrassing work stories or something, and we could read like people's stories live.
I write it down and it happens.
Well, I'm saying like if people wrote something, like if we posed a question at the end of this one and had people be like, "Yo, throw in Bacon Alliance real quick," and we'll read your name and we'll read your story.
Hell
like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, because we've been thinking about doing something like that. So, what
a better time than inebriation.
Let's do that
to
right now.
Start new things.
So to echo what Corey said, if you guys would ever like to reach us with ideas or thoughts, or like any kind of like any kind of anything. If you want to reach out to us, it's HLSZ3show at, what is it, yahoo.com?
Yes.
Yahoo.podcast/cast/table talk.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, so what we were thinking of is, like, for the next one, let's if you guys right now listening along have any work stories that were really embarrassing, really terrible, really cringy, did you ever have a bad firing or leaving a job, or did you ever have like a bad coworker that you worked with? Like, tell us right now your stories in Bacon Alliance, and we will read, I mean, as many as come through. Honestly, we can always read them and include you guys and incorporate it in it. But for now, we want to say thank you guys so much for listening to us, like, drunkenly ramble. It's been a good podcast this time, and it was a good time to throw one together. So as always, it has been your three hosts, Hypergraphia,
Lady S,
King size.
and we will see you guys in just a moment. Like, we'll still be here with you guys in the social room, but we're gonna take a little break in recording.